friends, hello there. I hope you're doing fantastic. I'm excited being here with you because many of us are in this start of the year type of situation. And I decided to write you a couple of pointers how I would go about evaluating the last year. And my first question to you is, how have you been? Have you been evaluating yourself? Have you been evaluating where you at? Because the next question, obviously, that will come, or the next type of action that will come out of is what do you want your this year to look like, the next year to look like, and the upcoming years? And often it's starts with a couple of simple questions. And how have you been? What went well? What didn't go so well? But I want to be a little bit more specific here. And there is countless articles and many approaches, and it's essential to learn from the last year. So I want to give you a little pointer here, and I'm gonna kind of run through this. I have written an article, so I will be glancing on and off just not to forget anything. But I want you to really think about your life and try to put it in a perspective. I used mine, and I'm putting in this little session with you kind of my thoughts on the last year and my takeaways. So the lessons can be super easy, but we must analyze more consistently to gain clarity and become better decision makers. And I think this is really key, because if you're honest with yourselves, you will not analyze yourself, because it's a little scary and it requires time away from your Netflix and other responsibilities. Often we just run such analysis quickly in our minds without writing things down, which is only partially effective. It can be from running yearly evaluations to creating goals and setting up quick possible scenarios. But before we dive into that, I want to really kind of think, and for you to think, what is journaling? And for many psychologists, journaling is a therapeutic way. But I want to look at journaling here from a different perspective. But just let's first look what the science shows. Journaling is a written exercise that allows people to express their emotions and feelings in a written format. It has been practiced for many thousands of years and has been effective in helping sufferers of anxiety to alleviate symptoms. There are many studies that show that journaling has been one of the most effective ways to address conditions like anxiety and depression. UCLA psychologists conducted research into this and how expressive writing associated with journaling can improve cognitive functions, improve anxiety. The study looked also into the brain imaging of people during journal therapy. Their research revealed actually that the association of written words helped to make an experience of trauma less intense. During the test of patients were shown an angry face, which in turn caused the region of brain called the amygdala to increase in activity. Isn't that fascinating? The amygdala is used to activate alarms in your body to protect yourself. Even when people were shown the same images, subliminally their amygdala responded. However, once the study candidates began associating words directly with the images, their brain and emotional reaction was reduced. So there is a reduced response from amygdala, and you begin to activate the brain's prefrontal region. So the challenge is, obviously, with many people, how to integrate journaling into their life. And because it's boring, it's not essential. Some people learn more through talking about their goals, about their struggles. So although science might use journaling to focus on mental health, as I said before, journaling can be repurposed. And as Jim Quick says, when we write things down, the knowledge goes from our head to our heart and to our hands. And below you have kind of handful, and in this recording, few handful of situations and questions that will help you to evaluate the last year and start a new year. So you can answer these briefly or as extended as you want. Remember, the more time you put into this, the more will come out. So first, I want to give you an app which I use myself, which is the Growth Day. If you want to use this tool, I'm using it as a journal to set goals, get inspired, do my daily check-ins, check my plans, listen to some positive stuff. But again, also, I will be talking about it later. You can check out the Positive Leader Live, which I'm building, and there you have a yearly curriculum, you have recordings, you have also expert content, etc. So this is really interesting. So the first things I want you to ask is the three great things that I made happen this past year where. So really think about this. This is a beautiful situation for you to ask, hey, how was my year? So first, I hope you say whatever, right? I feel like, I have progress in many areas, and you know take your lens and don't beat yourself up, but really be honest. And the question is about three great things, so I can answer these a little bit briefly. First, for me, getting certified in freediving. I took the freediving course last year and got a first level of certification. It was uncomfortable experience from the first moment. On the boat, I was getting quite seasick to holding my breath and diving to the depth of the sea. This experience showed me that more is possible than we think. You need to be willing to try and train. So with month of practice, I could finally hold my breath for 4.5 minutes, the longest. I was quite surprised. The secret is to do this first thing in the morning. As I told you before, guys, you got to be relaxed, not to push yourself. Try to enjoy the contractions and do not watch the clock. The second thing that was great for me this year is traveling to Costa Rica. I've been fortunate to travel abroad because of my partner, Kate, and cross one country from my bucket list, which is Costa Rica. It was an incredible journey. I have to say the nature is breathtaking. The fauna, the flora is magnificent. And from toucans to monkeys to turtles, even the, citizens of Costa Rica are quite kind, and animals live together relatively peacefully. There is one thing I would recommend you guys to check out is, and I was inspired by that. I call it a nomadic inspiration. We met, many travelers on our journey, and incredible people like Charlie and Dale who designed their lives to inspire others to travel and live in a van, the nomadic life. And these two particular, this couple actually is quite interesting because they created this Convert Your Van Bible. I think you can Google it like that, and really cool, really smart guys, and just live and travel. So they created their business and it took off. So it's really amazing. The third thing that happened for me this year is I improved my fitness and longevity. Pursuing longevity, forging new experience, and becoming more resilient and improving health was another significant decision for me this year. And longevity is not just about health. I know many people out there think it's just health, but it's about experiences, rest, and renewal. So there is another tool I would recommend you. It's a book. During my travels in Costa Rica, I finished this book, The 100-Year Life by Lyndon Grattan and Andrew J. Scott. And it is really great to have a goal to live a quality life. It's not necessarily about a longevity because, I have in other setting presented this findings of this book. And the particular group I was presenting it to, they weren't so keen on the long life, but they were keen on the quality life. And I know many of us will probably associate with that. Then I have to conclude this couple of apps and more for you. The entire year was dedicated to daily workouts with Center app. We started this probably start of last year. And for those who don't know, a Center app was designed by Chris Hemsworth, the guy who played Thor in Marvel, and his team. I was a bit disappointed that I didn't see Chris so much in the app, but you see great trainers who actually design great workouts, and for every level from beginner all the way to advanced fitness at home or in a gym, nutrition and mindfulness. So I have to say the technology is really fantastic in general. And, I used to design my workouts for me and my clients and health and fitness. And now I, can use technology to do that, which is amazing. I was also inspired by my partner, Kate. As I, said already before, we continued our weekly, sometimes twice weekly yoga sessions with Baho Beautiful. You can find them on YouTube. We use particularly the yin yoga sessions, which is quite relaxing and enjoyable, sometimes really painful because you hold one position for 1 to 3 minutes, and it can be quite tough. If it's not your style, it's okay. Just look for other versions of yoga. I just want to conclude this section with saying that flexibility is really super important and essential for longevity. Remember, many people might have slow recovery, and collagen, which is the part of our bones, starts to reduce after our 35th year or 30th year, and the production decreases, and there is an increased risk of injury. So building muscles and flexibility are the keys for longevity. I hope this is interesting and exciting for you, because I've heard this actually in another session with a doctor and scientist who actually said that actually muscles and how much muscle you have on the body prevents the injury. So it's quite exciting. So I want to continue this journey a little bit, and hope it's not going to take too long. There are other three things I learned about myself this past year. So it's the second question. So why should be learning and improving each year? Onward and upward and never giving up. That's the answer I hope you came up with. Constantly pushing ahead. This is what Tony Robbins calls the, never ending, constant improvement and progress. And also, we do not make the same mistakes, so we have to reflect. That's the thing. I notice in my life that many times, what's common knowledge is not common practice, and doing the same thing and same mistake all over again is the definition of insanity, as Einstein says. And sometimes it's not so visible, not so clear. And this is why the first thing I would say here that I learned last year is the way of the turtle approach. I grew emotionally, I became calmer, I stopped taking things personally again. There is a lot of room for improvement depending if I sleep well, if I eat bad. This can shift and I can get more irritated. But it means also that I do not always try to control the outcome, which I'm very good at. Even I know that it's outside my control, um, and the odds are against me. So sometimes you have to let things go. The second thing I did on point is I hired a coach. I bit the bullet finally, and I also want to encourage you to bite the bullet if you have been neglecting this. It means investing in yourself. Yes, it means money. It's cost sometimes a lot of money. It's not cheap, but it is okay. And at the start of 2023, I felt quite unhappy about things and myself. And after a decade of heavy agency, corporate life, and after long pondering, I decided to hire a coach. I was quite scared, even though I knew her and her work. Still I was quite surprised by my reaction and hesitance. There was a lot of internal anxiety, and up to this point, there were parts I did not reveal to anybody, and it was fine because I was solving it by myself, and all the heights and lows. I knew that that's part of life. But if you want to reach new heights and new scale, new mountains, you need new insights, and there are things you don't see because you cannot see them. There are a lot of blind spots. So this is why you need to talk to somebody and talk about this. And remember, you're an extraordinary person and who constantly learns and never settles. If you want to have a mammoth heart like Tony Robbins or people you admire, you must go deep, and you must be okay to feel uncomfortable during these sessions. Again, easier said than done, but if you really go for it, you will see your life improve. Second thing I want to give you guys is actually third thing, pardon me, is start mentoring. I encourage you to really get a mentor. That's one side, or a coach, but also start mentoring others to learn more about yourself. And this year really helped me to push that to the next level, because I have been mentoring people for the last decade or more, but this was the time when I said, okay, I will charge money for it. So it was really cool because you take your mentorship to a next level, and okay, there are things that I need to think of because people pay for it. So if you're interested, let me know. Connect with me and follow me for more insights on LinkedIn or Substack if you're listening or reading this elsewhere, for more personal wisdom. One thing I want to give you in this part is also an app. I managed to practice my daily 7-minute mindfulness with the Insight Timer, which is free app, and I reached a straight score for 365 days. And Jerry Seinfeld says, I like to challenge myself not to break the chain. And this is what have been my secret for many years, because I have been so focused on not breaking the chain and keeping the consistency. Then fourth thing I want to give you guys is to stay consistent. And this is also why I have had a very successful year, because I kept consistent despite not feeling for it, even when I fell down or sick, I've been quite good at shifting quickly and starting from scratch. And in many areas, from fitness to health to work and many various routines I have, even when I travel, I try my best to eat healthy, sleep well, and work out. And this has been my secret for many years, because I stayed healthy and even didn't get sick often. And that means you need to always choose your path. Many people trade their health or their money for health when they're old, but I decided to go slower and keep depositing to my longevity bank already now, before I get older. So this is a big one for many people, especially when you travel. The routine goes out of the window, and you must keep your promises, not because of others, but because of yourself. And enjoy the travel time and not working. And even then, you got to make a decision. Okay, am I gonna eat healthy or not? And if not, then when I gonna get back on track? So health, friends, and learning are very important in this. So you need to be comfortable, and ideally more comfortable, but you can only sustain what you do for short if you hate your life. And this is, I know this might sound weird, especially in this part, but many people work, their jobs in companies which they hate, and that's why their health is very bad. So, you can study neuroscience in this, and many people wish for more external in their life while trying to survive. So anxiety, stress are opposite of the emotions you want to experience, like awe, gratitude, and love. So if you want to thrive genuinely, you must go all in, which means abandoning living in survival and starting to thrive. So I want to sum this up with a little kind of session or a little quote for you to kind of take away this with: moving away from survival mode takes time, so be patient, but it is the decision that will change your life. You will enjoy your life more when you have fun. And I know this again sounds very airy fairy, but once you put it in your perspective and in your life, things will get better. So I have the third part for you that I want to give you guys as a little bonus here. And that's a little bit, let me just think, maybe I will give you this part, because there are still, it's quite a lot that I can distill with you, but I just want to give you little things that can really help you, and that's by learning from others. And there are three things I learned about others. Where? So this is your third question I want you to really ponder on. So this is a great question, as one of the best ways is to learn through others. But we have to be careful, as not everything might be suitable. But it can be a useful way to gather ideas and see how others lead their lives. For many years, especially in my relationship, my courtships, I learned a lot through my partners. And especially, when your partner is hanging out with different group of people than you're used to hang out. And it gave me many years ago this idea, like, how would it be if I learned from anybody I meet? And this is what I'm trying to do in my life. So the first thing I want you to do, and what I have learned, is do what makes your heart sing. And this is, talking to Charlie and Dale in the example above. People build their online businesses, take sabbaticals, retire earlier, sail when they retire. We met a couple as well with Costa Rica, Danish couple who sail around the world. Live in Costa Rica for 2 months. So again, everybody can design what they want, but the challenge with corporate life is that provide comfort but keeps us in our comfort zone. And this is what I learned from the people I met, that many people, it's good when you have the corporate life, but it's also good to keep building things next to it and do some projects which really makes your heart sing. The corporate creates safety cushion, and we live a routine life. But when we finally travel and meet new people, go and network, we manage to break these silos. And this is important, to break these silos, right? To innovate our lives. We all want to keep comfort, yet keep moving forward. So remember, then even if you become, an entrepreneur, or do not, quite want to travel in a van like Charlie and Dale, you can still build a unique experience and life. So we all have different paths, and our life must be honored. So we should live as we want, not as others wish to. So some people decide to study longer or travel and settle, and it is all okay. The second thing I want to give you guys is to move countries. We met another guy called Chris, and he's from Canada, and amazing human being. We moved with his wife, and he's currently working his way up to be a freediver teacher, and I believe he's almost finished. And he sold his belongings in Canada and moved. And it is possible. We met other people who did that, and it's especially in Costa Rica. A lot of people, come there, expats, to surf, to free dive, to just, create a hotel or hostel and do something that they always dream to do. So, I lived in the Netherlands, Spain, and now kind of in Europe, in Germany still, but still thinking, hey, what's next for me and what's next for us? And moving countries is not easy, but it's one of the best decisions I have done and made, to learn new languages and get uncomfortable and become the person I'm today. And I'm sure it is something that could inspire as well. The third thing in this question is, start a new hobby. I mentioned it before, but Kate, partner, is a big inspiration for me. We both watched this Netflix free diving movie Deepest Breath last summer, and since then we really practice breathing. We practice swimming each week in a pool to train our breath holds. And Kate likes it and plans the second level certifications. During our next travels in Tenerife this year, and it's fascinating to see or seeing your partner so close and other friends going all in for something. And I think it's pretty rare in today's world where people double and want quick results. But to be fair, we often need to double before committing. And I've done that many parts or part of my life. And not because I, didn't want to commit to something, but because I felt like I need to find out what I like. So to conclude this, drop your ego, be humble, inspire others, and be kinder. Double if you need to. Take time to find your path, but choose for something that you love. So, as the habit dictates, I will slowly conclude this session, but I want to give you one last question as a bonus. I know we are dragging it a little bit on, but I think this is very important because it will give you a little idea how to think about life. So, if you want to get the rest of it, then please visit Substack and you can read the rest of the article. But there is really something that really helped me this year and helps me a lot in my life, is to be grateful and create these gratitude lists. And this year was particularly mesmerizing. So, there were a lot of things that might be irrelevant for you, but I realized, people matter. And that was one of the biggest realization for me, even more, because it's not anymore just, hey, you need people because you want to climb higher. You need people because you want to have more fun in life. And it's a little tiny little shift, but it helps you to elevate your life experiences, put away the mindset of I need positions, which you realize, hey, they actually make your life more fun and maybe better, but they are not so important. So experiment and pick and be grateful. This is how I call it. So try some different things and see if you like them. Remember, if you like something, maybe stick with it, experiment with it a little longer. So this is my top 15 gratitude list. I was able to win some table tennis competitions. I joined shooting club. I got a great new role, negotiating some new bonus and some raise. I flirted with my online MBA program, which I definitely need to double down on this year. I got certified in freediving, managed to hold my breath for 4.5 minutes. I dove to 8 meters in the sea. I enjoyed weekly office work. I was not a big fan of office, to be honest, because I work a lot remote in my life, but it's suitable for occasional bonding and lifting the team spirit, especially if you have the right leader. And I'm using purposefully the right leader and not boss. Worked from abroad, which I enjoyed, especially if you can spend the time near the sea and spend more time in the sun. I traveled to Spain, Italy, and Costa Rica this year. I also was able to drive the Audi RS4 with 600 horsepower. I have to tell you, damn, that thing goes through the corners like no tomorrow. So cannot wait to see how the Porsche Taycan drives. It's really cool, especially with cars. I wasn't really a big car guy, but it's sometimes fun to do something different. And many people have cars because of status, and that's not the point, right? You should, if you ever want to have a car or own a car or drive a car, it shouldn't be never for the status. It should be because it's fun and because you really, that's your thing. For other people it might be buying purses or buying expensive clothes or jewelry, whatever, or traveling. I hiked the trail, which took 4.5 hours, but we hiked it in a half, and I was quite impressed because I'm not a hiker, to be honest. I'm also happy, with my investment portfolio, so really cool. Altogether, last year was very sporty, and I did not even note all the activities as I was not happy with my Sunto watch, which worked kind of half-ass, pardon my language, so I had to send it back to repair. But even though more or less, um, I think I did quite well. So if you have a recommendation for some watch, I'm thinking maybe Apple Watch, let me know. So overall, I think I burned about 187,000 calories, um, walked, ran, biked, about 1,052 kilometers with about 760 total activities and 440 ish hours spent on various activities and sport. I invested in my health, went to dentist, did an overall health check, and also want to say here I'm very grateful for my mentors, bosses who shaped me. I could not include this if I did not express my gratitude, for my leader or my boss Stefan, partner Kate, and Business Future Mastermind Group. So even my coach Deb has helped me to rise to the next game and next part of my life. So sometimes things and events within teams help us grow. So remember, things do not always have to be perfect, they just have to work for you and help you to grow. So remember, things are important and you got to work on yourself. So one more thing I want to include, and I decided just to finish this off really quickly with you because I think it's so important. The next question I have for you guys is the main thing I could have done better this past year was. So for me, the big thing was sleep, which when I'm looking at my routine, I have really struggled a little bit with sleep because I genetically have this so-called restless leg syndrome. Maybe some of you have heard about it. Maybe you can Google it, but it's sometimes flares up when I don't have my routine, and it's the sensation in your legs that you feel like you need to remove them, or arms, or anywhere in your body. So remember, things take time, and if I'm looking, comparing my year, I definitely think I improved a little bit, and I sleep almost 7 hours a night, or 653 hours a night, which is quite okay. But I would love to get to 8 hours a night, and I think it's very important for me to stop a bit earlier. So there is a lot of science behind this, and I'm sure you have heard about it. So read up on sleep. The sleep doctor, Dr. Bruce, I think, and if I'm not butchering that, you can have a look at his findings. And there is always opportunity costs for growth, for other things. So you can double down on things. And for me, the evening window was often, or is often, the second wind where I'm working harder, and I'm trying to manage some side projects or some other projects if I have to. So sometimes you need to go and network, so you can go sleep so early. But remember, this is a very important area of your life. So take care of your sleep, nourish it, and get better. And as the habit dictates, I want to conclude with this little summary, which is really, I want to keep working on my sleep, see if I can improve it further. Remember, onward and upward. It's not about perfection, but it's about progress. And the final two things I want to give you guys. I got a little bit passionate as we are concluding, and I know it's a little bit longer, but I really hope you stick with me because it's so important to work on yourself and work on your craft and work on your health. Someone I really connected to this past year was described a memory briefly, and I really have to laugh out loud because I'm a networker at heart, and I go to regular lunches, and I like meeting new people. So this was a tough for me because I met heaps of people, from Christian who works in a bank to when we were troubled in Spain, a Dutch lady who actually repairs home, to my friend Christine, who is a dear friend of mine, or Sabina, and other people who I really cherish in my life. And the thing, what I want to say here is, it's always important to learn something new, and hanging out with like-minded people is fantastic. So we, for example, dedicate, or I created this community or tribe that I call the Business Future Mastermind. We talk about business, we talk about some life lessons, and we exchange on a monthly basis. So if that's something for you, please reach out. Happy to include you. It's a premium group, so a paid group. At least it's gonna become a paid group. And during my pre-Christmas networking, startup networking, I met amazing people, Carol and Walter, both fantastic entrepreneurs. And I have to say that it's really cool to talk to people you can resonate with. And to conclude this session, this section, I wanna tell you, it's excellent to meet remarkable people. So I know for many people, this might be a blank part, as you don't know who you talk to, or you really are not a networker. Maybe you're an introvert and you need to work on this. So use this as an area to challenge yourself, because we can get inspired by others. So become a student of others, student of psychology. And the last piece I want to give you guys before we conclude, and the last question is, the biggest decision I made this past year that I need to stick to was, for me, work for a leader that I admire and be a great leader myself. And the bonus is to work with people or a team under you or around you that you admire and love. We spend a lot of time with people, and in my corporate career, I spent in different roles, leading and individual contributor and something in between. And I have learned one particular lesson, that you should never neglect red flags when you feel like that somebody who is supposed to hire is not actually you're gonna be seeing each other eye to eye. You shouldn't take that role. And I've done that mistake many times, until I realized, no, that's it for me. And you enhance your quality of life by being on a team which is excellent and which has great standards and great values. Many people talk about it, but when it comes down to cutting the wood, they chicken out. They complain. And I'm not holy. I've done many mistakes, but I always try, at least in my heart of hearts, to be a good and decent human being, and kind and really helpful. And this is what you need to do and display these characteristics as a leader. So you will spend countless hours with people on projects and flying to conferences, thinking about strategy, talking about life. And you should lead around your life around people you aspire to be, and not be always the smartest person in a room. So let me leave you with this. Remember, your friends should inspire you. Some of our friends have different hobbies. They climb and spend time hiking in the mountains. One friend from Switzerland, particularly, that I remember, has booked a tour to Nepal, or friends, particular set of friends, to climb and hike. And we actually spend New Year's with them, and it's always revitalizing to spend around people who you admire. And even if it's not your area, if it's not your area of passion, but you see the character and you see what this particular experience shaped them into. So many people, and let me leave you with this, try to push themselves, know the price of improving, and there is little place for drama. And this is what you want. You want to be around these people who prioritize self-development over drama development. So surround yourself with people who you admire, and one day others will look up to you for guidance and wisdom. So I hope you're ready for this evaluation. I know it's exhausting, it's tough. We almost spent half an hour or more together, and I actually wanted to finish a bit earlier. But as we conclude this session, I'm really proud of you. And again, I'm really proud of myself. I'm not saying it in this session so often, but I'm learning as well to be humble, because and I want you to be humble about this as well, but I want you to be honest about your successes and open to new possibilities. So take this as a learning opportunity, and I'm really looking forward to see you throughout this year. Let me know how you found this, if you like this, and if that's something that inspired you. So have a great one, and I'm looking forward to see you very soon again. Live a legendary year. Remember to raise your leg, to run the miles, raise your fist to pump in the air, and raise the spear of opportunity and throw it as far as you can. Until the next time, stay awesome.